for power, engineered for precision. From forest to factory, our machines shape the world. Fast, strong, reliable. This is industrial performance at its finest. Have you ever wondered what happens behind the scenes of the wood industry? How raw timber is turned into smooth panels, powerful fuel, or high-grade furniture components? Welcome to this deep dive into the world of wood crushers and wood processing machines, where steel meets timber and innovation fuels productivity. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to explore the different types of wood crushers, how they work, their applications, and what makes each machine unique. But before we jump in, tell me, do you like this kind of intro? Do you want more content like this, explained with clarity, energy, and real-world relevance? Drop your thoughts in the comments or hit that like button. Your feedback fuels this content, just like diesel fuels a drum chipper. Now, let's get to the heart of wood processing. When you need to reduce wood into sawdust, and you're dealing with mixed, tough, unpredictable feedstock, there's only one machine you can trust: the twin-shaft wood crusher. Unlike high-speed chippers or hammer mills, this machine doesn't rely on impact or blade speed. It's all about torque, slow, powerful, and relentless. At its core, two counter-rotating shafts pull wood inward, crushing it between hardened intermeshing teeth. Tree trunks, roots, pallets with nails, bark, bamboo, construction debris, this machine doesn't flinch. The design minimizes clogging, handles inconsistent material sizes, and keeps working even when the feed changes mid-batch. Each shaft is powered by a heavy-duty gearbox. Hydraulic couplings absorb shock, and the steel frame, it's overbuilt on purpose, because this machine is designed for 24/7 industrial duty. You can add a screen to control output size, or connect the crusher to a hammer mill for finer powder, or mount it on a conveyor system for continuous production. From biomass energy plants to composting stations to wood recycling centers, the twin-shaft system is trusted for one reason: reliability. But let's talk about safety. These aren't blades, they're mechanical jaws, capable of chewing through steel bolts if needed. Never reach into the hopper. Always use hydraulic pushers or controlled feed conveyors. The noise level is lower than high-speed shredders, but the force is unmatched. And so is the danger. Emergency shutoffs, interlocked access panels, overload sensors, and these are not optional. Smart facilities automate feed control, temperature monitoring, and output sampling, ensuring quality and machine health in real time. And here's what really sets this machine apart. It doesn't need perfect wood. It thrives on difficult, dirty, inconsistent input, the kind of material other machines jam on. If you're processing massive volumes of material and can't afford downtime, this is your workhorse. Low maintenance, high output, unstoppable torque. This isn't just a shredder. It's an industrial solution. This is the twin-shaft wood crusher. The industrial wood saw is not just a machine, it's the heartbeat of every lumber operation. Whether you're breaking down logs or processing slabs, this saw is engineered for consistency, speed, and surgical accuracy. It starts with a heavy-duty steel frame, vibration dampened and rock solid. The blade, whether circular, band, or gang, spins at precisely calibrated speeds, able to slice through hardwood, softwood, or composite material with ease. Logs are automatically fed into the system, aligned by sensors and rollers. Each cut is optimized by software to reduce waste and maximize yield. Precision isn't optional, it's built in. Millimeter adjustments, blade angle control, variable feed rates. This is high-performance sawing made automatic. And with safety features like blade guards, laser alignment, and emergency stops, operators stay protected while maintaining full production flow. The result? Thousands of board feet per shift. Every cut straight, every piece usable. No more guessing, no more slowdown. Just clean, accurate lumber, hour after hour. For flooring, framing, furniture, or fuel, this is where raw timber becomes refined material. This is the industrial wood saw. The chainsaw, compact, powerful, essential. Whether you're felling trees, bucking logs, or clearing storm debris, the chainsaw is a core tool in forestry, arboriculture, construction, and emergency response. But make no mistake, this is not a casual machine. It's one of the most dangerous tools in the industry. Let's break it down. A chainsaw consists of a two-stroke gas or electric engine, a clutch, a drive sprocket, a guide bar, and a cutting chain. The chain moves at speeds up to 70 feet per second. Each tooth acting like a miniature chisel, ripping through wood with ease. That speed gives it power, but that power comes with risk. Kickback is the most dangerous hazard. When the upper quadrant of the bar tip contacts an object and throws the saw back toward the user in milliseconds, it can be fatal. Vibration fatigue is another threat. Hours of use without anti-vibration handles can lead to loss of grip, reduced control, and long-term nerve damage. Chain snap, bar pinch, over-revving, fuel leaks, all real dangers, all preventable with training and awareness. Modern chainsaws are equipped with safety features. Inertia-activated chain brakes, chain catchers, anti-vibration systems, throttle interlocks, handguards, low kickback chains. But even with all this, safety begins with the user. Before starting any saw, 1. Check fuel or battery level. 2. Inspect the chain tension. Too tight and it burns out the bar, too loose and it derails. 3. Ensure proper lubrication with bar oil. 4. Confirm the chain brake is engaged before pulling the cord or pressing the trigger. Wear your PPE. Chainsaw chaps, cut-resistant gloves, hearing protection, helmet with visor, steel toe boot. When cutting, maintain a wide stance. Keep both hands on the saw at all times. Never cut above shoulder height. Avoid cutting with the tip. That's where kickback lives. Always be aware of your surroundings, terrain, bystanders, and obstacles. Chainsaws aren't just for pros, but they demand professional respect. In the right hands, a chainsaw is a surgical tool, clearing limbs, shaping trees, sectioning logs cleanly and quickly. In untrained hands, it's chaos, damage to property, injury to self, or worse. Situational awareness is key. Use wedges when felling trees. Use a bucking stand when cutting firewood. Always plan your escape route before making the first cut. And remember, when a chainsaw fails, it's rarely the machine's fault. It's operator error, lack of focus, lack of respect. Even seasoned professionals make mistakes, but they train constantly to minimize risk. So before you pick up a chainsaw, ask yourself, are you trained? Are you focused? Are you prepared to treat every cut like it matters? Because it does. This tool is unforgiving. It doesn't pause. It doesn't hesitate. It only cuts. Fast, relentless, unstoppable. This is the chainsaw. When it's time to clear thick brush, saplings, and overgrowth, the rotary drum mulcher on a wheel loader gets it done. This setup delivers unmatched control and torque. The rotating drum chews through dense vegetation smoothly, with less flying debris and a cleaner mulch finish than disc systems. The loader's articulation helps maneuver around trees, ditches, and fence lines. And with hydraulic float control, the drum glides over terrain with precision. Ideal for roadside clearing, utility paths, and forestry maintenance. This combo handles 4 to 6 inches of growth without slowing down. Operators can tilt, angle, and fine-tune cuts on the fly, making every pass count. It's not just about cutting fast, it's about cutting smart. This is the wheel loader with rotary drum mulcher. When the job calls for fast, aggressive clearing, you bring in the disc mulcher. Mounted on a wheel loader, this setup combines brute force with mobility. The spinning disc reaches full RPM in seconds, slicing through brush, vines, and trees up to 8 inches thick. Unlike drum mulchers, disc systems use speed and impact, launching debris, pulverizing trunks, and flattening terrain in one pass. It's not for finesse, it's for maximum ground coverage, fast turnaround, and tough vegetation. The wheel loader provides stability on uneven terrain, and articulation makes it easy to maneuver around structures, poles, or steep inclines. Operators can angle the head, engage from the side, or drop straight into dense clusters, but make no mistake, this machine demands respect. The force, the speed, the debris, it's all intense. That's why you suit up. Heavy-duty glass, guards, and distance protocols for clearing storm-damaged fire lines, overgrown fields, and reclaimed land. The disc mulcher on a wheel loader is the go-to. It's fast, it's fierce, it's built for battle. This is disc-based brush obliteration.
ยืดเสร็จโอ้ลัง em đi của mình đi dai.
Nó vào kèm em mà. Nó vào kèm.
Nó gì?
Nó vào đó.
Nó vào đó ấy. Ngon. Nó vào. Nó vào có con nào ranh nào đó này chứ. Anh bữa đấy cũng rảnh mà. gửi định vị đó chưa?
Nè,
Gửi định vị chưa?
nhiều về định vị. Nó biết rồi, nó biết chỗ rồi.
Nó liên lạc với chỗ anh đó.
Có đâu.
Không quá gửi định vị cho anh này.
Có một đứa kiểu ít em 1 tuổi nhưng mà nó nhìn nó bình thường quá. Người nó cũng kiểu mình dây ấy.
Còn ở đâu?
Đây. Nhưng mà về làm không may nền biệt thự không sao, về cái nền một vớ vẩn lún cũng thua.
Ông anh em như cũng làm điện cá rồi á, chụp những cái đẹp.
Quyết đi. Quyết đổ quyết là cái
kêu đừng cái anh đó, kêu chú đó. Trả ra.
đó không bao nhiêu anh hả?
mấy cắn vô chín mỡ cho nó chín mỡ nó bị ngòi sao á.
Không dám cắn nữa đi.
Hả?
Không dám cắn đi. Chắc nghề gỗ kéo em đúng. Chạy 2 con cơ. Chạy 2 con rồi chứ. Mạnh em nào, yếu đi. Kéo thật. Gas xuống nào. chiều dọc này nó dữ rồi. Bên dưới Đấy.